I recently discovered something in the Sma Glen, and it was huge. Then I found out there were two of them. If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen. And if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with people like you. In the meantime, let me tell you a story. I turned 60 recently, and to celebrate, I took a group tour of 25 people round my favourite places in Scotland. It should be no surprise that we spent a bit of time in North Perthshire. As we drove through the Sma Glen, my colleague and driver pointed out something I hadn't noticed. It was huge. In fact, it's reputed to be the grave of a giant. Now, when I taught physics in Aberfeldy, this road was my daily commute. I've driven this road hundreds of times, but to my shame, there was something I was missing, and that's what we're going to look at today, with a wee hat tip to the Northern Antiquarian, which has been really useful as a resource. We know from old sketches and descriptions that just up ahead there was some sort of prehistoric ring, and in it a huge stone of significance. But a road had to be built through this glen. You see, after the 1715 Jacobite uprising, the Hanoverian government wanted its troops to be able to access the Highlands to suppress the local population. Between 1725 and 1737, one General Wade of the British Army was given the job of building 250 miles of road and 40 bridges to penetrate the Highlands. Back then, along here, you would have seen flags marking out the route that this road was going to take as it wound its way through the glen. There was just one problem. Jesus. Fuck. Okay, there were loads of problems, but for the purposes of this video, let's just stick to one. There was a dirty great stone smack bang on the route planned for General Wade's road. The stone had to be moved. A letter written by a Captain Edward Burt tells us the soldiers, by vast labour with their levers and jacks or hand screws, tumbled it over until they got quite out of the way. Although it was of such an enormous size that it might be a matter of great wonder how it could ever be removed by human strength and art, especially to such who had never seen an operation of that kind. Well, that was that. But no, moving the stone revealed something else. This is where that stone ended up. Today they call it Ossian stone, but when it was moved, what it revealed underneath was even more interesting than the stone itself. And upon their digging a little way into that part of the ground where the centre of the base had stood, there was found a small cavity about 2 feet square, which was guarded from the outward earth at the bottom, top and sides by square, flat stones. This hole contained some ashes, scraps of bones and half-burnt ends of stalks of heath, which at last we concluded to be a small remnant of a funeral pile. Upon the whole, I think there is no room to doubt but that this was the urn of some considerable Roman officer. He went on to suggest that certainly the design was to preserve those remains from the injuries of rains and melting snows, and to prevent their being profaned by the sacrilegious hands of those they call barbarians. So first, this was the gravestone of a giant, then a Roman officer. Would a Roman officer really want to be buried out here, beyond the Gask Ridge? That was the last of Rome's defence. There was a Roman watchtower down there at the end of the glen. Romans did have themselves created and remains put in urns. But I'm trying to imagine that ceremony as locals watched from their vantage point. Was the assumption that the stone was to keep barbarian hordes from the remains and that only Romans could cover this with such a stone a prejudice from a more recent imperial mind? No doubt modern day examination of the urn will give us the answer to that question. Captain Burt tells us that the officer in charge of the work party had pondered what to do with the urn, but the commander-in-chief decided that he should keep it as its contents were a curiosity. And that makes sense. That's exactly the type of thing a fascinated officer of the new imperial order would do. But can you see the exquisite irony of this situation? Our letter-writing British officer makes the assumption that the reason the civilised Romans went to the bother of moving this rock was to deter the barbarian locals who would disrespect the sanctity of this interment. But what it really needed protection from was the civilised officer of the British military occupation who saw curiosity rather than sanctity. The remains of his Roman counterpart might have survived as an intriguing objet d'art in his mantelpiece. Maybe eventually found its way into a museum or a rubbish tip with equal probability. But Captain Burt's letter tells us that's not what happened. As I returned the same way from the lowlands, I found the officer with his party of working soldiers not far from the stone and asked him what was become of the urn. Was the sanctity of this Roman burial despoiled by the stiff upper lip of modernity? Apparently not. Soon after the discovery was known to the Highlanders, they assembled from distant parts and having formed themselves into a body, they carefully gathered up the relics and marched with them in solemn procession to a new place of burial, and there discharged their firearms over the grave, as supposing the deceased had been a military officer. You will believe the recital of the ceremony led me to ask the reason for such homage to the ashes of a person supposed to have been dead almost 2,000 years. You may here recollect what I told you long ago of the great regard the Highlanders have for the remains of the dead. So where had the Highlanders taken the remains of our Roman? Let me take you a mile down the road. As I head there, let me just remind you that in April, I'll be repeating the 11-day tour that inspired this video. I'll be taking you to all my favourite places, from Hadrian's Wall to the Isle of Skye. We'll visit the best castles, a fantastic Iron Age village, the birthplace of Scotland, the birthplace of more Scottish kings than any other, and the burial place of Robert the Bruce. You'll also meet the current Lord Bruce, and you'll enjoy good food, fine hotels, and one all-inclusive price. Click the link top right or in the description below, or if in doubt, email alexis@scotlandhistorytours.co.uk. This is the Saddling Mare, or the Saddling Stane. It's a test of strength. The stone down here is the saddle, and this big boulder is the mare. The challenge is to pick up the saddle and put it on the mare's back so that it stays there without sliding off. In actual fact, there's 3 different stones of different weight, and you had to get all 3 to balance at once. That's the idea. Now folks come here to this day to meet this particular challenge.
Go on then, show us how it's done.
Matt, I said to you already that you forget this shtick, right? Okay, I'm clearly a fat Afro-Celtic tour guide. If I try and pick that up, I'll give myself a hernia. Some say drovers used to try this challenge as they came down from the Highlands, driving their cattle to the market in Crieff, 6 miles to the south. This was the spirit of the Highland Games. Highland Games, part of a culture that still continued through to the present day. Some say that this is the place to which the Romans' remains were brought, away from Wade's Road, to be reinterred under a different stone, recognising and respecting the man's spirit in death. Now here's the point. A British Army officer, writing from the haughty position of culture and sophistication of a superior civilization, postulated that centuries ago the reason for Ossian's stone was to protect a Roman's remains from the sacrilege that might be wrought by the savage barbarian tribespeople nearby. In fact, the sacrilege was wrought by that very civilized British officer class that he represented. The remains were only respected and preserved because of the actions of those savage barbarian clanspeople who'd continued to live in these mountains since the time the urn was buried, presumably in the Iron Age. Speaking of which, probably the best time that I ever had making a video was in an Iron Age broch in Shetland. It was fabulous. And you can watch that video by clicking the link coming up on screen now. Support the channel by clicking top right to become a Patreon member, or buy me a coffee in the description below. Ha mín dóchas gún bí lam alive. Sherry and Drasta.